Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Jay Wilson. I am a content creator over at Data Crew, and today I wanted to bring you a little tutorial about working or tracking changes to beast modes in Domo. So what Jess was asking is she's saying, hey, currently she has to manually review the audit logs to see if beast modes have changed. And I said to myself, well, I could do this with manual inspection, or I could use data and a little bit of ETL trickery to get this job done. So what I recommended to her is I said, take a snapshot of the beast mode data set from Domo governance. So accumulate history, build a recursive data flow, right? These are all words for the same thing. And then what I'll do is I'll take the lag function to pull the most recent definition or the previous definition of that beast mode. And then I'll use a case statement to ask, is the current beast mode definition the same as the previous? And from there, I'll know, did the beast mode definition change? Okay, so how would I actually implement this? So this data set, what it does is it has, I believe, one row per beast mode, and it includes the dataset ID, the beast mode ID, the name of the beast mode, and the actual function that was written. Cool. Why do I care about the dataset ID and the beast mode ID? Well, the dataset ID says, hey, if I have a beast mode, let's say called sales amount, you could easily imagine that sales amount exists on multiple datasets. Similarly, even within that same dataset, I might have multiple cards with a beast mode called sale amount, and if it is or is not shared to the dataset, it may or may not have the same definition. More importantly, from one day to the next, I might say, oh, I'm going to call it sales amount or sales AMT, but hopefully the beast mode ID will stay the same. So typically you would just run this ETL every day or once a day. But for the sake of conversation, I'm going to create a quick beast mode here. Let's do a table card. And I've got that name of the beast mode. And I'm just going to drop in a metric called sample beast mode, which takes the sum of one, which should basically give me the row count. Now what's interesting to know right off the bat is I've got 53 beast modes called event date, 36 beast modes with unique users, right? They have the same name, but hopefully each of them are associated to a different data set or beast mode ID, and I'm actually just kind of curious now. So for this data set, the beast mode called event date is in this data set 26 times. Interesting. I realize, ooh, Jay, you have the wrong math here. Let's do count distinct. Let's change the beast mode definition to count distinct beast mode formula. Okay, so 0 logins, the beast mode with this name occurs on this data set twice. Interesting. Do they have different calculation IDs? What is it called? Beast mode ID. We're doing a little bit of learning as well as, hopefully they're all equal to 1. Okay, so, all right, it looks like this is the correct updated beast mode definition. So I'm going to go ahead and click save, and it's called sample beast mode. Okay. So I'm going to close that, go back into my data, and then under beast mode name, what do we call it? Sample beast mode. All right. So the last time I ran this report, the beast mode formula was called sum1. And then today I ran the report and it has a new value, count distinct of beast mode formula. Okay. So how can I capture the history to say that, oh, this beast mode formula changed, and let me know which formulas changed since last time I ran this report? Just for grins, I'm going to add one more beast mode so we have just a little bit more data to look at. Okay, so I'm going to create that. So now I should have my new report should tell me the data I want to get out of my report is that one beast mode changed and a new beast mode was added. All right, how are we going to go through this process? What we'll do is we'll create a Magic ETL. And I'm going to use my beast mode data set here that we were just looking at. And remember, this beast mode data set, we ran it yesterday. So I'm going to create an output. And I need a formula tile. I need to be using Magic 2.0. Let's try that again. All right, let me add a formula. And what am I going to tell my formula? I'm going to say report date. We last ran this report. Let's assume it was yesterday. So 2023 03 today's the 6th 5. All right, that's going to be the report date. And let me pass that through to my output data set. Now I don't want to do a replace. Remember, I want to accumulate history, but I don't want to do a recursive data flow. I'm going to use the partition beta. All right. And let's call this governance beast mode historical. When you have a partition-enabled data set, you should have a new tab called Partitions, and we can see here that the partition ID is the 5th, yesterday, and the row count is 1,238. Okay, let's really quickly look in this output, and we can see under beast mode names that sample beast mode, right? This is exactly as we expected. Yeah. And you're like, but Jay, you did the count distinct thing earlier. What's going on here? Well, I need to update my report. So let me go back to my Domo governance beast modes data set. And let's assume that we run the report again. And I think this takes a while to run. Let's see, how long does it take to run? Takes about 7 minutes. All right. Okay, we're back at it. It looks like the data was ingested successfully, just finished a couple seconds ago. But what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that today is in fact the 6th. And we're going to take the data that we just finished ingesting a couple seconds ago, and we're going to change the date of ingest to the 6th, and we're going to save and run. Now, if you're a little bit confused what's going on, I said we're building a replacement, a recursive data flow alternative. We're accumulating history using the partition beta. Now, typically what we would expect to happen is we would expect the rows to replace all the existing rows in this data set. I would have 1,200 left at the end of it. But because of this partition beta, because I'm using an equivalent of a recursive data flow, I can see my row count doubled from one execution to the next. If I go to the partition tab, I can now see, oh, I've got a partition for the 2305, and I also have a partition for 2306. I can see I added a new beast mode, right, because I created that second beast mode. All right, let's take a quick look at our data set here. Let's go look at our beast mode called, wasn't it sample? We'll look at sample beast modes 1 and 2. All right, for beast mode 1, on the 5th, I can see the previous value was sum 1. For beast on the 6th, the value changed to count distinct, and then I have a sample 2, which is now the value of 2. And we'll call this our change report. Okay, so what's going to go into my change report? What I want to know is I want to know the previous value of my beast mode. So I'm going to say, give me a rank and window function. And I'm going to add a window function called, let's call it row number. I want to know, is this the first, second, third, fourth, fifth version of this beast mode? So that's going to be a row number function. And I'm going to, let's see, order by the report date. But I have to do descending, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. I'm going to order by report date descending. And I'm going to partition by, what did I agree on? Beast mode ID and the dataset ID. Theoretically, I should be able to just partition on the beast mode ID because each beast mode should have a unique ID. So let me just do that. All right. And then, so that'll be the row number. And then I'll also add another function where I'm going to get the previous beast mode definition. And to get the previous beast mode definition, I'm going to use the lag function. And I want to pull the beast mode formula. Actually, let me use the same name. Previous beast mode formula. And I'm going to do an offset of 1. So give me the previous beast mode formula, where the report data is ascending, yep. And because I don't actually need all of these columns, let me just keep the ones I actually care about. So I don't care about the card ID and title. I'll keep the dataset ID, dataset name, beast mode ID, beast mode name, formula. Status is kind of interesting. Save to the dataset might be interesting. Applied to summary number, I don't care about. Batch ID, last run. And I'm keeping the report date and the previous beast mode formula. And then I'm going to output my data set. All right, so let's take a quick look at our output. Of particular interest will be the beast mode names the beast mode called sample, or the columns with, yeah, anyway. All right, so here we remember it was sum1 and then we made it count distinct. And so if I look at the, this is going in the wrong direction. So it's saying on sum1, so on 3.5, the previous definition was that's actually backwards. I need that to be lead, not lag. Okay, let's go back into my ETL, my mistake. So the previous definition is going to be the lead function, not the lag. And that's because my order by clause is backwards. My order by clause is by the date descending. All right, one more column I'm going to add in here is the formula tile that the user was initially asking for. And so here's where we build that case statement. So we'll say case when beast mode formula is equal to previous beast mode formula, then did it change? No. Else 1. End. Validate. Save and close. Let's output. Now I could add a filter right here and just say only give me the rows that change, but when I do ETL, I try not to build the report or the card definition into the data set. I wanted to keep it flexible. So I'll just add a binary column so I can filter in my card or filter in my data set view later. All right. So here we have the current value, the current row. Here's yesterday's row. And the previous beast mode value was 1, sum 1. So did it change? Yes. Here, this is interesting. It's clocking that sum 1, which is my first row of my data set. It's saying it is a change. And it's saying that because there was no previous beast mode value. And now you might say, okay, did it change or not? I mean, technically, if you add a new beast mode to the data set, that should be considered a change. And so I think it's reasonable for it to say that the first iteration, the first row of the report is a change. And then today, right, on 2.3, we added that new column, sample beast mode 2. And so that's also showing up as a change. What's also very cool about this data set, right? This data set has a history of all of my beast modes. Let's look at a random one. So here's 0 logins. There's a couple rows called zero logins. So let me sort by beast mode ID. So we're just doing an apples to apples comparison here. Okay, so let's just look at the first two rows. Did the beast mode change from the previous definition? No, it did not. And if you said, hey, Jay, I just want to know the current beast mode definition, I can filter to where row number is equal to 1. I'll have the most recent beast mode definition. And how do I know that's true? Well, as a proving point, I can say, hey, show me sample, and I should have one row of each. And I do, the most recent row. Let's go back to the Slack request. Jess initially says, hey, I'm looking for a way to not have to manually inspect the audit logs to see if a beast mode changed. And what did I recommend? I said, take a snapshot of the beast mode governance data set. And we used the Magic 2.0 plus partition beta to get that done. Then I said, use the lag function to get the previous definition of the beast mode. Now, in implementation, we ended up using the lead function instead of the lag function because of the way the data was ordered. But the concept is still there. Then lastly, we built that case statement that checked, is the current beast mode definition equal to the previous beast mode definition, 1 or 0? And that lets us know if the row changed. I'm going to leave this data pipeline in the Domo Dojo. If you're not part of the Domo Dojo, this is a space you can come to play with new Domo features, to just experiment with fake data. And then also kind of see what other people using Domo are up to. So if you're interested in that, again, links to all the things in the description below, and I'll catch you guys later. Y'all have a good one. This video is sponsored by the guys over at Crystal Ballers. No, I'm not making this up. There really is a Domo consultancy called Crystal Ballers, and they are really freaking good. When I have a problem that I don't immediately know the answer to, I reach out to these guys. Not because they were Rookie of the Year, but because they really know their stuff. Crystal Ballers was founded by longtime Domo employees. One of them, Doc, was a major Domo over at Domo. And so he was handling a lot of the governance and administration tasks within Domo before switching into a data science consulting role. And we call him Doc because he has a PhD. The dude is brilliant. The other guy, Andrew, was a solutions consultant and then data science director before he left Domo to start Crystal Ballers. I can't recommend the guys at Crystal Ballers strongly enough. I mean, in addition to just being good at Domo administration and data engineering tasks, they're the guys that I'm going to talk to if I have a question about building a custom app or some sort of tricky automation task that I'm trying to get done. They're incredible at integration because all of their staff comes with their wealth of knowledge about Snowflake, dbt, and all of the other pieces of that big data pipeline that you're building. So yeah, I'll post a link to their website in the description below. Check them out. Let them know I sent you, and good luck on your projects.